Welcome back everyone to another Company of Heroes 2 replay cast, and this time it's gonna be, as you can see, a wait, is that a 3v3 or a 4v4? 1, 2, 3, because it's like glaze, so I thought it was a 4v4, but it looks like it's gonna be a 3v3, and that's not good, because I hate this map of 3v3s. Anyway, it's gonna be between the Swoop, Trademark, playing as the SF, the glorious person who sent in the replay, aka Ketok the Meme King, and he's also playing as the USF, as you can see, and another American, the Walking Dude. So looks like Freedom is gonna be, well, had. We have Jansun Xiao on the Wehrmacht side, the Devil CZE, Devil 82 Czech Republic, etc. as the Wehrmacht as well, and Yakti Kozak also as the Wehrmacht. So 3 Wehrmacht versus 3 Americans. Oh boy, I think this is gonna be fun. Anyway. This guy, Ketok, actually has his own YouTube channel. I'm gonna link it in the description, so if you want to check it out. He does meme videos on Company of Heroes 2. They're all pretty fun, so yeah. You probably already know him, but might as well. Also, now let's get to the game. Yeah, looks like the Americans are coming in on the left-hand side. First engagement's gonna happen between re-echelon troops and German units that are trying to approach these points, but it's not going well for the Germans. They're getting hounded all the way to the, buildings. Of course, the MG42 is gonna get in this building, and now Ketok is gonna have to retreat to his own house, but problem is there's more MG42s coming through from his opponents over here, and that's not gonna be good. I mean, despite the rifleman, he's not going to be able to flank because of the building, so he's just going to stand there, try to do some damage, but probably have to retreat. On the right side, it seems like more re-echelon troops just kind of occupying the enemy by standing in the buildings, and it's going okay, but yeah, the Germans spamming MG42s is going to be very, very good for them, because when you're facing the Americans, the MG42s, you can't go wrong with them. Up until, like, they get an M20 or something, they don't really have any counters to them. Alright, however, there is the mortar coming through for Ketok, so he smartly decides to go with that because, well, otherwise he wouldn't really have any way of destroying this building. And right now on the left side, it seems like, yeah, the MG42 spam from Devil is going to be pretty much king over here on this side. On the right side, it seems like the Walking Dude is doing a lot better against Johnson. Partially because Jansen sent 1 MG to the center, and partially because he's been using the buildings on the right side much better than his ally on the left-hand side has been. In the center, of course, we have Ketok trying to, in some way, hold back the MGs by putting in a rifleman in these houses. So he's busying them up and letting them shoot, and then the mortar comes in and does the actual damage. So that tactic should hopefully give him control over the center. Yeah, pretty much just standard stuff on the right side. It looks like the Walking Dude is going for the ambulance right away, and the grenades, so this is actually pretty good, so that he can surprise the enemy and get some wipes on the MGs and the houses with the grenades. In the center, Ketok is, well, pretty much establishing his control. The problem is his mortar is getting flanked by some grenadiers. The grenadiers don't, however, have Battle Phase 1 to shoot the rifle grenades, so they're not going to be able to destroy the mortar crew in time until the riflemen come through and murder them. In fact, the crew joining in the fight and destroying the whole Grenadier squad. So well played over there. These Grenadiers need to be very, very, very carefully microed, but it doesn't look like Yakti Kozak really knew what was going on. On the left side, also, what is this guy's name? The Swoop. He's also gone for some mortars, which is obviously a good idea. The problem is he sent them up way too far, and they're getting MG'd themselves. That's usually what you want to avoid, and so probably this attack on the left-hand side is going to fail again. And yeah, it looks like on the right side it's just a massacre, because these riflemen are always able to get the flank off on these machine guns, and it's just not good. The church is being occupied by the other MG42, but there's just way too many rifleman squads in the area, and the ambulance is gonna, well, if it drove up to the front, it would allow them to reinforce on the field, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Grenade comes through, and yeah, that's the problem with churches and big buildings. The amount of damage radius of the grenade is going to be much, much smaller than the hard points where the units can actually fit, so it's going to take a while to do a lot of damage to these guys. And yeah, this spam of machine guns is really starting to get annoying, I'm guessing, for the allies. As you can see, as predicted on the left-hand side, Devil CZE has been able to force back the Swoop, in fact, all the way to the base, capturing even the point right outside, so that's giving a resource advantage to the Germans. The Germans, however, are falling behind on VPs. They are at 420, 420 VPs. against the 500 of the Americans. That's because the Americans are able to hold the center and right side. And importantly, the right side fuel point has been capped by the walking dude, so that the Americans at least have one fuel point on the map, which is of course going to allow them to tech up relatively quickly, despite their overall, disadvantage. Kedok hasn't yet decided whether to go with the captain or the lieutenant. Let's see if his allies have. Well, we have another rifleman squad and weapon racks coming through for walking dudes. So he's basically built everything that can consume his fuel in the barracks, because he's got the grenades, he's got the weapon racks, and he's got the ambulance. So he's really going for that early game, and that's fine. So that's kind of leaving him, however, without a captain or a lieutenant. So I wonder what he's going to try to do in that kind of sense. He's pushing up to the base, loses a rifleman squad because of it. It was an interesting and good move to try to at least harass what's, around over here. And ooh, Devil CZE is not happy about everything. Looks like he's losing a lot of units because he used to have grenadiers, now he doesn't. I'm guessing this explosion had something to do with it. And overall, it looks like he's getting set upon by a lot of mortar fire. He's got me trying to counter with his own mortar, but his own mortar decided to fire at the rifleman. And he's also going for a scout car, so 222. And of course, Johnson Shao has a normal half-track, which he's upgrading with a flamer. And that's a very, very good choice because Kedok doesn't really have any counters to it, so I like how the Germans are going for these light vehicles, and even the mortar half-track. I don't exactly agree with the mortar half-track purchase. It's a very expensive at 40 fuel vehicle. So what I would have thought that Yakti Kozak would have wanted to do was go for the tier 2, and like his allies, go for either a 222 or a flame half-track. But the combination of the mortar half-track and the flame half-track is going to be definitely getting a number off on those riflemen. Riflemen come in to throw an anti-tank grenade, and it does succeed. They're going to try to escape through the fire and succeed most likely, while the mortars are doing a pretty good job at disabling these machine guns. On the left side, we have finally a nice push from the swoop. He's going to be able to use the smoke barrage from his mortars to just kind of keep this MG out of the fight while his riflemen capture the point. And he's also got a mortar half-track, so that's infantry company coming through for him. And he's going for the captain. So overall, yeah, it doesn't look like this mortar half-track is going to have any protection, and the 222 should be able to easily destroy it. In the meantime, another advance into the church area for Johnson Shao is not going to do all that much, but however, Johnson Shao is basically pushing up on the center and right all by himself. That's allowing the 1v1 on the left to go with Devil's way. So the Devil is still taking advantage of this quite well, but of course he's got kind of an advantage because he's 1v1 and the other guys are having to shoulder up a little bit of a hard burn. I mean, considering that this guy, Yakti Kozak, doesn't really have anything, it's really quite remarkable that right now Johnson can be so aggressive. Right now, it looks like Kedok's captain is going to try to interfere with this mortar steel, but the mortar steel is going to proceed as planned for these pioneers. Very well done. Those Niga pioneers definitely getting what they wanted. And right now, riflemen flanking the MG. Will they be able to destroy the MG in time? Most likely, if they get the grenade off. 50 more seconds on the cooldown. And actually, there's a bit of a mortar that was, I think, targeting the rifleman, but it actually ended up doing more damage to the MG. Yeah, it's still doing that. It's the mortar half-track. What a traitor. And the riflemen were trying to just get enough of the cooldown to work, but oh well. Looks like we have a couple of fighting positions on the right side for the walking dude, so he's got a pretty secure, stable base of operations. He's got a flame after barreling down his way, but with the captain, he should be able to counter it, and he's also going for the Stuart, so that's a very, very good choice just to deal with the light vehicle. AT gun from Kedok. On the center of this map, there's not a lot of good lines of sight to place the AT gun on, but it's okay. It's always going to be useful. And oh, looks like these Grenadiers have entered a bad neighborhood. Lots of bar fire, gonna probably just destroy these guys. Yep, and so now the riflemen, they cannot steal the, well, this squad can steal the MG, and the other squad does have 2 BARs. So very, very good infantry force shaping up to be for Kedok, and he's going to try to sort of meme his way into the center. However, he's still got to deal with these like MGs that are just so annoying. It should be pretty easy, relatively, considering that now he has those very well equipped riflemen, and he's still got the mortar. But other than that, I'm not sure what he's gonna try to do. Nice grenade on the right side. The right side finally sees the Steward coming through, and the Steward is gonna try to destroy the Flame half-track. Should be pretty easy. Oh, he does not have enough munitions for the point-blank shot. What he does have enough munitions for, no, he does not have enough munitions for the anti-tank rifle grenade. If he waits for a couple more seconds, he might. There we are, he does have enough, but he doesn't get the rifle grenade off. That's unfortunate. The Steward's gonna have to try to chase down by itself. Are there any mines in the area? No. In fact, double flame half-track coming through for Johnson. That's probably not the best idea. Doesn't need all that much anti-infantry, and probably, in fact, it's gonna be counterproductive. On the left side, it seems like double CZE is using his scout car very, very well. He just gets behind the entire rifleman blob, forces them to retreat, forces the mortars to retreat, and uses his MGs at the front to just kind of repel the normal attack. And actually, the captain has smoke. What the fuck? I'd never noticed this. Oh, it's because he's got rear echelons in the squad. So the rear echelons are the ones that can use the smoke. Weird. Anyway, Kedok's riflemen are just charging through and trying to get to the mortar half-track. Yeah, he kills the mortar half-track. The problem is he's in a very bad position and he's going to lose his riflemen. So that was actually, I think, a mistake, because the mortar half-track was absolute weight. Wait, they survive. Oh well, I guess that's worth it then. Still lost an infantry unit. Not sure where. Most likely, not over here. Maybe over here. Yeah, the rear echelons were capturing the center. And the captain goes down. So that's definitely unfortunate, but if you can get the flame half-track, the captain loss might be worth it. Oh, he might lose his rifleman again. Damn it. Well, that's the end of Kedok's infantry. He's still got one rifleman squad, but, I mean, he's lost his captain, he has lost his rear echelons, and he's lost the other veteran rifleman squad. So that's a very, very devastating loss. It's not going to be good for Kedok. Especially considering that he did that for the destruction of a mortar half-track. I mean, the flame half-track, yeah, you can kind of understand, but at this point, with Stewards on the field, even the flame half-tracks are not that much of a dangerous unit. And the mortar half-track is absolutely worthless. So he has just now wasted some very good units to destroy some worthless ones. That's not the best. Let's take a look at the doctrines. We have infantry doctrine for the swoop. Kedok hasn't yet chosen a doctrine, but he's got Pathfinder and Paratrooper bulletins. So it's kind of likely that he's going to go for the airborne company. At the same time, however, he's just lost his entire infantry army. And instead of just picking airborne and getting a squad of paratroopers and a squad of pathfinders, he's built 2 rifleman squads. So I'm kind of thinking that he's going to go for the heavy cavalry company. And yeah, he's even got the major. So yeah, I think the heavy cavalry company is going to be coming through for him. And the walking dude still hasn't chosen anything. He's got tactical support, recon support, and infantry company. I'm personally thinking he's going to go for the tactical support for the, you know, Calapis, but oh well. Recon support might also be pretty good at this moment because he's going to be able to get those, you know, 57mm AT guns and paratrooper squads. But oh well. Double CZ, close air support, so lots of annoying Stukas. Johnson Shao, Storm Doctrine. Huh, that's why he went for 2 half-tracks, so that he can lay down some Regals. The problem is he's not laid down any Regals that I can see. Those things are very, very nasty. They do a lot of damage and they almost always destroy the engine, but it's like such an obscure little ability from the half-track of all units that you don't really get to use it very often. He's also going to have the LEFH artillery, which is quite good, and yet more annoying Stukas. So lots of airstrikes for the Germans. And Kozak, Festung support, so that's also an LDFH artillery doctrine. I can never distinguish those, they're just always too similar. And, well, rip Panzer Grenadiers. Yeah, looks like the Allies have a pretty good advantage overall. It seems like they have been able to just get so much done. And there goes the engine for the rifle grenade. Yeah, they've just been able to get so much done just as a whole, but I don't see how the Germans are going to try to come back. But, of course, I mean, they're going to get the late game soon enough. I mean, it's the Wehrmacht, so they're probably going to start to spam Panzer IVs and Panzerwerfers. It doesn't seem like any of these guys actually built all that much in terms of late game. We have a Stug coming through for Johnson Xiao, but other than that, oh, we have a tier 4 for Yakti Kozak. So that's, I guess, fine, but it's still so late, and Kerak did indeed go with the heavy cavalry company. So he's got Rangers, but his Rangers are getting destroyed by the MG42, so the MG42 always being just the universal counter for any allied infantry that it should be. And right now, the mortar half-track, once again, purchased by the Soup. I'm not sure what it is with these mortar half-tracks. They're so expensive when it comes to fuel. Like, the American one is 30, the German one is 40. So, overall, I just don't really see their purpose. Well, I mean, in a team game, okay, I can kind of see why you maybe would want to sacrifice some of your early to mid-game armor for just the extra, you know, fire support. But, it's just kind of strange. I don't really like it. And it looks like the memes in the center have failed, and now the Grenadiers are just kind of charging through and getting to the pack howitzers. That's not very good, but on the right side, thankfully, the walking dude just has his Fortress of Doom. He's got 4 rifleman squads, a captain, a vehicle, so that's the Stewart, 2 kills. Not really the best, but yeah. And a pack howitzer. The pack howitzer is going to be helpful at dealing with these MGs in the center. It's just that it's going to get, you know, kind of harassed, but once the protection is established, as it is right now, yeah, it's going to be pretty okay. Looks like one of the flame half-tracks went down, but it's going to get replaced by, yeah, over here. It's going to get replaced by a Stug. Stug definitely very useful against enemy vehicles. The problem is there aren't any American vehicles right now on the field. Kadok is waiting for the Pershing, probably smart, I think at least. He's 4 CPs away. He's almost at 9 CPs, so 13, 4 CPs away, and, well, resources is pretty much all the way over there already. Although he does have the Major, so he might want to, for example, like get a Scott just to help out with the fire support against the enemy little emplacements that they set up with the MGs. Devil is going for 2 Panzer IVs. Yeah, that's when you tech late and you realize, oh, I've got a lot of resources. And yeah, he's going for the 2 Panzer IVs. That's a good idea. If he can keep them alive, of course, and, you know, supporting each other, he's going to have a very, very nice little mobile striking force, which he can use to annoy the heck out of the allies. However, I'm guessing he's just going to let them die, because that's usually what people do with medium tanks in team games. They don't really seem to know how to use them. Looks like the anti-tank gun is trying to shoot at the bunker along with the mortar, but they're all missing. And we have a Stuka anti-infantry strafe, which is not going to do anything except suppress these riflemen that were already suppressed from the MG42. So a bit of a redundant use of munitions over there. And ooh, looks like the walking dude is going to lose a couple of very, very well vetted up rifleman squads. But the Grenadiers decide to switch target right at the last second, letting the rifleman with the BR escape. That was a bad mistake from Yakti Kozak. And it seems like, yeah, the Americans are trying to push up on the left side, but it's not working out. They're getting counterattacked by a massive swarm of German infantry. And that swarm is going to get supported by the Panzer IV in just a few minutes. Looks like we also have another tank, a Sherman, coming through from the walking dude. And that's going to support Kadok's infantry as they assault the center. Going quite okay, but the problem is this MG42 needs to be dealt with. And in fact, the house is about to collapse, so that MG42 needs to be a little bit careful. Looks like some kind of artillery strike from, yeah, time on target from the swoop. It's going to deal a lot of damage to the German infantry, destroying a Pioneer squad, I believe that was. And some bazookas are doing some damage to the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV tries to escape into the enemy lines, which, again, might just result in its death. In fact, probably will. As the anti-tank gun might... Oh, actually, the anti-tank gun is busy for the Ostwind. So that's going to be saving the Panzer IV and dooming the Sherman in a way, because the Sherman was trying to flank the Stug, but the Stug now has the support of the P4. The P4 is going to force the Sherman away, and the anti-tank gun tries to destroy the Ostwind. Is having some pretty good successes at that, but for some reason the Ostwind is not escaping, so that's pretty okay. The Sherman goes down, and the 2 Panzer IVs are right now trying to destroy the anti-tank gun. Looks like there's some LEFH rounds falling down from Yakti Kozak, most likely. Yes, it is a LEFH, and that's going to help the Panzer IVs destroy these guys. But we have a Jackson coming through from Kedok, and the Jackson should be able to destroy the Panzer IV. Getting the last shot in should be just a matter of getting a good position at this point. Let's see if the Jackson can charge up, and it does get an excellent shot through the hill into the rear of that Panzer IV. Somebody call the police. I think we've just witnessed an account of molestation. And that Jackson is going to be very, very effective against the kind of vehicles that the Germans are going for. Double CZE has a P4 still left, and he's going for an Ostwind, which is, in my opinion, a huge mistake. Johnson Schau has a Stug, and Yakti Kozak has a Panther. So that Panther is really the only challenge for the Jackson in terms of armor. And that's not good for the Axis, because soon enough, I think we're going to see the, Allies just kind of spam a lot more heavy vehicles because they wasted less fuel on light and medium armor right now. So we're going to see spam of most likely Jacksons, the Pershing coming through from Kedak, although he's going for a second Jackson, which is, in my opinion, a mistake. I think that he should have gone for the Pershing. And plus, the Allies just generally seem to have an infantry superiority. Like, right now, there's a big fight, so I won't really have the time to show you, but yeah, the Allies just have a lot more effective infantry, so they're going to be able to support their armor a heck of a lot better. And even the fact that the Germans just have left the right side completely alone, they haven't even tried to get some harassment done over here, is allowing the Allies to concentrate just much better onto the center and the left-hand side, so it's definitely helping them out more than it's helping the Germans out. And the Swoops Jackson is also on the field, so that looks like all of the Allies except the Walking Dude have gone for some Jacksons, and that's definitely a good idea. With the buff that Jacksons have received, they are monstrously powerful. Alright, let's take a look at the infantry now that the fighting's died down a little bit. Looks like this whole, massive engagement battle, I'm not quite sure really what to call it because it wasn't one engagement, so yeah. Oh, this might be bad, however, for the swoop. I was about to say this all went definitely in the favor of the Allies, but oh boy, yeah, I'm not sure what this is gonna be all about. Thankfully, there's that anti-tank gun, and that forces away the Ostwind, but other than that, that was a very, very... Oh, that Ostwind's dead. Yeah, the two... Wait, where are you going? He saw the flame after it. He's getting distracted by it. And looks like, yeah, that's going to go down to the rifleman. So, taking a look at the infantry, the Walking Dude has 4 rifleman squads, a captain, and a re-echelon troop with some bazookas. Kedak has 3 rifleman squads, one of them vetted up with BRs, and then he's got a ranger. And the Swoop has 3 rifleman squads with LMGs and 1 bazooka squad for the captain. Whereas the opponents have 2 Grenadiers, 2 Pioneers, and 2 Grenadiers. So as you can see, very, very much inferior. Although Yakti Kozak has 2 LDFHs. I'm not really sure what he's going to do with 2 LDFHs. I think like 1 was definitely enough. At least he's got the Panther, so he's still got 800 despite having spent 1,200 manpower in LDFHs. And something's telling me that, yeah, Johnson Schau is also floating a massive amount of manpower. Double CZ isn't, but that's just because he's been losing a heck of a lot of units. So he's a little bit more drained than his allies. Looks like the Steward is trying to come through with Shell Shock, but it didn't really work out, and the Panther's now going to destroy it. In fact, it's the Stuga that gets the finishing blow, but that allows the Jacksons to come in and destroy the Panther. Yep, very, very well done. The problem is, one of those Jacksons is going to go down because of the Panzerfaust from these guys, these Grenadiers. So very well done by the Germans. I think that was overall a win for the German side. As Kedak loses a Jackson, plus the Steward goes down. In the meantime, we have a bit of an advance attempt from Kedak, and he's gonna try to destroy this house with the MGs once again. Looks like this house has finally gone down. And there we are, but you have a big airstrike coming through. That's from Johnson Schau, and that's gonna wipe out 2 rifleman squads. Unfortunate for Kedak. That was a very well done and very well timed Stuka bombing strike, and there's plenty more where that comes from because the Germans seem to have a bit of a munitions advantage. Actually, no, they have a parity over the Allies, but Johnson Schau has been saving up a heck of a lot of munitions, and he's still got enough for another Stuka bombing strike. Looks like on the left side, we have Double CZ that's really using a lot of his munitions on this useless anti-infantry strafe. But at least the useless anti-infantry strafe is really keeping this infantry from the swoop at bay. He's just always forcing them back into the base and keeping at least the left-hand side VP under German control, at least in a more stable fashion than the rest of the map is controlled by the Allies. And because of that, that's allowed the Germans to just kind of survive in terms of VPs without getting triple capped. But that's, I mean, it's just surviving, really. It's not even anything bigger than that. because they're still at 193 VPs, whereas the Allies are at 400, and we have another Stuka bombing strike that's definitely coming through over here, and along with the LEFH, it wipes out one rifleman squad. So slowly but surely, with the very liberal use of, you know, the Nazism explosives instead of the democracy bombs, they are wiping out a lot of American squads. That's crucial, but the Americans are still, you know, they're still the kings when it comes to infantry on this battlefield, and right now, ooh, that Stuka is not in a good position. Sherman plus the Jackson, for some reason, do not press their advantage and do not destroy the Stuka. That was very unfortunate. But yeah, there's a lot of Jackson / Sherman spam for the Allies, so they should be able to do quite well. We have a nice smoke barrage. Wait, no, that's not a smoke barrage. That's a time on target coming through. That's probably going to take out the house. Yep, it does. The bunker's still around, but the bunker is, well, easy prey for the Jackson. The left is still under the control of the Americans, or sorry, the Wehrmacht, with actually some stolen anti-tank guns and, you know, the MGs, and they're probably going to recruit that mortar. So it's pretty well firmly held. And Devil has built another P4, or was this the original one? Yeah, that's a new P4, I'm guessing. Not very good usage of the P4s, he's been losing them. And perhaps should be right now going for the tier 4 to try to get out some Panthers. Otherwise, he's definitely going to be falling behind as the Allies get heavier and heavier stuff. This Jackson is probably going to die to the LEFH shots, although it does get in time. The destruction of that Stuka does have enough time to destroy it, and is probably going to escape. Other Stuka goes down to the Jacksons. Looks like, however, the Panzer IV is charging away and trying to destroy the Jackson, but it's not really working out because this Sherman crew gets back into the vehicle and is probably going to be able to at least force away the show. No! The LEFH round actually hits the Sherman and destroys it, and so the Panzer IV is going to have to be destroyed by the Jacksons. So a few losses for the Allies, but really nothing too substantial, and the losses for the Germans are still a little bit heavier. But it's going a little bit better for them. Looks like the walking dude is going to be just kind of trying to get his infantry into a position where they can destroy the artillery, but I'm not sure if he knows where the artillery actually is. So I'm really not sure what he's doing with the infantry. Oh my god. Alright, Priest for him. That's a pretty good choice to counter the enemy artillery. And what the fuck is happening? What are they doing? What are they doing? Somebody help. Oh no. That's 4 LEFHs in one area. I don't know. I just don't know. Hold on. Just gotta blow my nose. Okay, I can breathe again. And the priest is gonna die. So the Panther comes through and destroys the priest. That was pretty well done. Unfortunately, he loses his last rifleman that was supporting him. Or actually, no, he's still got a Grenadier squad there. Yeah, things are... That's a lot of Rangers, Karak. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with the Ranger spam, just for the lulz. You still need the Rifleman for the anti-tank grenades, but it's fine. Just goes for the Rangers and then the Jacksons. And he's also going for the Pershing right now. He's going to have enough resources in just a few little seconds, 600 manpower, and we'll see that he's going to purchase that lovely vehicle. Yep, there we are. And the left-hand side, I'm still not sure how the hell Devil CZ has been holding up against the swoop for so long. I'm guessing it's just that the swoop keeps sending his riflemen in suicidally frontally against the MGs, and the MGs are pinning him. Despite the swoop having the advantage in terms of like artillery as a whole. He's had the mortar advantage. Then he later had the mortar half-track. He's got, right now, the Scott. He's got a Priest just purchased. So that's actually 2 infantry companies for the Allies. You have both the Walking Dude and the Swoop with the infantry company. So definitely quite a lot of artillery coming through for the Allies as well as for the Germans. And yeah, for some reason, he's just still not able to take this very, very basic fortified position. I mean, it's not like he's got anything too innovative or complex. He's got AT guns, some bunkers, and some mortars and the MG in the building. That's all he's got. So that's not looking too good for the Allies. In the center, looks like we have the walking dude and Kedok still just kind of pushing away, and this is really allowing the allies to get the middle VP controlled. And right now it seems like they've found out where the LEFHs are, so they're calling down artillery fire on it. That was a time on target, which surprisingly failed to destroy. Oh no, because it was targeted most likely on this. So it destroyed one of the artillery pieces. Rifleman heroically sacrifices his life for freedom to throw a grenade that does absolutely nothing to the howitzer. And yeah, it seems like the howitzers are still just kind of uncaring. They still fire away at the American units. But, I mean, they're not really going to be causing all that many casualties because it's not like the Americans are really camping all that much into one area. Looks like we have 17, so 24 kills as a whole. So through good targeting and probably a sheer bit of luck, they've been able to get some... Oh, that's because this howitzer is in range of the base. Oh, okay. So that's actually destroying the Americans in the base. Well, very well done by the Germans, actually. I'm going to eat my words. And, ooh, these anti-tank guns are in trouble. Rangers are approaching. And actually, Jackson is going to try to charge at the Panther. Surprising move. In fact, wipes out a whole lot of Pioneers by running them over. That were repairing the Jackson, or sorry, the Panther. The Panther is in pretty much equal footing, and it bounces the last shot from the Jackson. Very lucky at that. Looks like we have a lot of time on target artillery that's going to do some friendly fire on the Rangers, but also destroy... Wait, is that time on target? No, that's not time on target. That is sector artillery. Sector artillery for Yakti Kozak actually does more damage to his allies than to his enemies, and it does not really do a whole lot of damage to weapons, which is what kind of made me notice that that was not time on target, because the time on target would definitely destroy these weapons. So a little bit of a win for the Germans as they get to keep these anti-tank guns and machine guns. However, let's take a look at the overall situation. Johnson Shao is down to 20 pop cap, 2 squads, and 1 of the howitzers. So he's definitely very well destroyed. He's got a lot of resources though, so he can build probably some Panthers to rebuild his forces. He does not have the tier 4, but he should be... I think that's why he's getting these Pioneers. I think he wants to build the heavy Panzer Corps. Something finally decided to attack the right-hand side, and it was a machine gun that unfortunately did not get the order to retreat, but he at least sacrificed his life for the Reich and took the right side VP, so that kind of slowed down things for the Allies. Double CZ, he's got a decently balanced force. He's got even a Panzer for artillery. He's got a P4. His only real weakness is the lack of late game armor. He's only got P4s against, you know, Jackson, so it's not really going to work out that well for him. Yakti Kozak, of course, with the 2 howitzers, he's taken fire from the priests, so that's, of course, not very good. I think what the Germans should be doing right now is building up... What's the Panzer firing at? Looks like it's firing at the priest and missing. But the priest goes down to the P4. Why the fuck are these allies not protecting their priests? All you need to do is put one of your vehicles right near the priest. This guy has a Jackson, but the Jackson has actually been decrewed. Well, it's because it was repairing. It's, you know, the crew that was repairing the Jackson was destroyed by the artillery. So somehow the fixed artillery for the Germans is beating the priests, so the mobile self-propelled artillery, from the Allies. Mostly just because of the incredibly criminal mismanagement of the priests by these Allied players. However, they've just got so many Jacksons that the Axis vehicles are really not able to do anything. There it goes. There's some kind of anti-tank strafe coming through, and it is, in fact, the anti-tank strafe, and the artillery finishes off, or maybe it was the Panther, finishes off the Jackson. And take a note that one of these Jacksons actually contains a vet-free rifleman squad, so it needs to be pretty careful not to lose that rifleman squad. And the German Panthers are charging right up to the base with some artillery support. The problem is, at this point, they're in a pretty bad position surrounded by Jacksons, and they've got even more Jacksons coming through. In fact, no, it's the Pershing. So they've got the Pershing coming through, so a bit of an ace up the sleeve for Kedok. Destroys one of the Panthers with his Jackson. The Jackson then retreats, and it is a trap. The Panthers tries to chase away at the wounded Jackson and the other wounded Jackson, but there's a Pershing right outside. So it's actually a bit of a surprise, and yeah, the Panther's not looking too good. The Pershing's going to try to chase away. Looks like Kedok does not have enough munitions for the armor-piercing HVAP, but with the very, very superior speed of the Pershing, he should be able to just kind of chase away at the Panther indefinitely. Although he decides to shoot at the Rangers and retreat just to have a little bit of safety, because he was definitely afraid of his own Pershing getting ambushed. In the center, the Germans are pushing away, and they're getting some good successes. Looks like Johnson Schau has built a massive swarm of Pioneers, but he hasn't built a tier 4, so that's, in my opinion, a bit of a mistake. And looks like he's... Oh no, he's shooting at the rifleman. Okay, I thought he was trying to destroy his own anti-tank guns, which would have been a pretty bad idea. Oh, that's probably why he built all those Pioneers, to just recruit all these guns, which is a very good choice. So the Germans, while getting pretty heavily massacred, taking a lot of losses, as a whole, they have destroyed the Allies. They've hurt them a heck of a lot more. What the fuck? They know where the ambulance is? Are these guys, like, map hacking or something? Because I think they're just saturating the entirety of the Allied base with artillery fire at this point. But it's pretty funny because what they've actually accomplished is that they have, while they've lost pretty much, I think, the same, that was actually very complex. I have no idea what actually happened. It was very, very confusing. While they've lost a similar amount of resources to the Allies, they have definitely gained more territory. They have the left-hand side completely secure. They have pushed the Allies back to the base there. Kedak has also been pushed back in the center, and now the VP over there belongs to the Axis. And the right side has been checked a little bit for the first time in pretty much this entire game. So what's happened is that now the artillery battery that's growing and growing, it's back to 4 pieces, by the way. The artillery battery is now a lot safer because the Allies are pushed back further from it. So the artillery battery is in a lot more of a secure position to just kind of fire away. So that's kind of interesting. And it's gonna be, well, down to the wire as to whether or not the Allies can deal with this artillery battery. Partially because, well, I mean, they do have time on targets and priests, so they should be able to easily, you know, counter battery. But what they need for that would be vision to throw down the time on target, and of course the priests are very much lower range than the field howitzers. So they're gonna need to, again, get closer, and that's right now not happening. Here comes a massive Panzerwerfer, but it misses the rear echelon spam. In the center, Kedak is making a pretty nice offensive. He's managed to destroy one of the MGs once again. And now his Rangers are attacking into this whole area, and that looks like it's gonna be a wipe for the grenade. His Pershing is gonna push up and try to deal with the Stug, but there's actually not a lot there that can stop it. I mean, there is an anti-tank gun over here, but it's not on prioritized vehicles, so it's shooting at the Rangers. And the MG just barely survives and manages to get the suppression off on the Rangers. What I think the Germans should have done, or should still do, right over here with these howitzers, is build a reinforcement bunker so that they can reinforce on the field these howitzers, because the Germans, of course, don't have any merge. So otherwise... Oh, finally an attack on the right side. So Yakti Kozak, with his 1,400 manpower in the bank and his 1 Panther, is attacking the right side, and that's definitely the good choice because he's got a, you know, tank, so there's no anti-tank defenses over here. He can just use the Panther to destroy the fighting positions. He can use the Panther to destroy the machine gun over here, and then the riflemen that are following up can just kind of take control of the area. In the meantime, Stug looks like it's going to die to the Jackson for Kedak, who has been keeping his Jacksons alive, so that's pretty good. And now he's got the Rangers. Crucially, he has managed to break through the blockade at the center, and now he's got the Rangers attacking the artillery pieces, so that's pretty good. Gets one of them down. It looks like we have an artillery time on target falling down over here, so the Rangers need to be a little bit careful because they're probably going to eat a lot of damage from their own artillery. And the artillery is trying to destroy the guns themselves. It manages to succeed with one of the guns, and the second gun is in trouble as well. Looks like the mortar is going to be absolutely gunned down, Chicago style, by those Thompsons. And the Panther over here tries to attack the, you know, rifleman, but it's not its job. So the riflemen are just going to laugh away for anti-tank grenades. There goes the other, you know, little artillery piece, and yet more, you know, red smoke, but that's a Stuka close air support, so that's gonna at least stop the rampage of the, you know, Americans. And they managed to steal one of the artillery guns. That's not gonna really do anything because there's Panthers around, but I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the Axis to destroy their own anti-tank guns by shooting at them by accident. So that's a pretty good little trick, I would say. But actually, the Rangers have just waited out the suppression, and they've now managed to get behind the Panzerwerfer. The Panzerwerfer is going to get gunned down Chicago style as well by the Thompsons. Yet more damage coming through on the other artillery gun, and I think this is a time on target falling down on the other artillery piece. And the time on target destroys the Rangers that had gotten into the shack. So that's, yeah. Kedok does not fancy his chances at trying the trick, and it actually did work, so the Germans destroyed the other LEFH somehow. And, well, so the battery from 4 pieces is down to 1 piece, whereas the Americans still have basically all of their stuff intact. The center's still been recaptured by the German units. Looks like Kedok has only lost 1 Ranger squad, whereas just the Panther army is doing well for the Germans to just kind of keep everything under sort of an orderly fashion, although it's pretty much chaotic on the left-hand side. I'm thinking that the Panther army is now going to try to push away at... Wait, they're pushing at the center. That's a mistake. That's the only place where the Allies are actually strong. Kedok's anti-tank gun, Pack 40, going to definitely be able to support the Jacksons and the Pershing in dealing with these 2 Panthers. There's way too much for these Panthers to deal with. And, well, yeah, they're going to have to escape. Stu comes in to support from the flank. And for some reason, these Panthers are not just escaping outright. They're trying to kite away at the enemy, and it's kind of working out. The Pershing takes main gun damaged. But, yeah, the Pershing's going to get repaired by the 2 Jackson crews, I'm guessing. There goes the Stug. And there goes, well, these MGs are doing a lot of damage to the Allied units, but some artillery is probably going to be enough to destroy all of this. I'm guessing that there's a priest firing at them. Left-hand side, looks like the Sherman coming through, trying to destroy the LFH is going to be intimidated, I guess, by the Panthers. The second Panther, oh, it wants the Pershing. It wants it bad, but it's going to get a little bit more than what it bargained for. Looks like there's a few Jacksons over here. First Jackson, however, in a very bad way, almost dead. And, yeah, the volleys from the Jacksons are going to try to force away the Panther, and they're going to be successful just barely. But right now the Germans know where all of this is happening, so they might try to artillery it. However, they still have not recruited the artillery. That's pretty bad. And Random Pack destroys the Random Panther, so I have no idea what's happening. I'm guessing that the Allies won that engagement because they took out all of the artillery guns. That was a very, very big target to kill. The right side is still a little bit contested, but the Allies are able to come through with their infantry and destroy it. Looks like right now the Walking Dude has lost all of his normal infantry units, and he has decided to equip all of his riflemen with bazookas just in case he's going to need them against the Panthers, etc. And that's, in my opinion, a bit of a good decision. He's also going to be able to steal that LMG-42, so that's good. It's, in my opinion, a good decision because at this point, trying to deal with the Panthers is probably more important than trying to deal with the rest of the German army. The center, it's Johnson Shao versus Kedok, but with the artillery now on the side of the Allies, it's going to be harder and harder for the support weapon spam of Johnson Shao to really deal with the Rangers. And Kedok has a very, very well equipped armor contingent. He's got 2 Jacksons and a Pershing. And then he's also going to have enough resources probably for another Jackson at this point. Left side, I have no idea what's happening. I'm not even going to try to understand it. And it looks like the Germans are going to destroy their own Panther. With, oh, that's lucky. Looks like the Stuka close air support bombing missed. Jackson, unfortunately, comes up right face-to-face with a Panther, so that's not exactly the best place to be if you're a Jackson. And right now, the other Jacksons coming in to save it are going to do pretty well. Looks like just barely avoiding to destroy it. Oh, no, they do manage to kill it. However, the Jackson goes down, and the flank from this Panther and P4 combination is now going to be in trouble because of all these American heavy guns that are in the area. Looks like there's also a random Stug in the area. So the Stug is still around. They're still being bought for some reason instead of going for heavier vehicles. There goes the Panther. And at this point, I'm guessing that P4 is going to be next. The vet-free Jackson is still around, and it's going to be able to easily deal with the Stug. So the P4 goes down. Incredibly enough, this other Panther is way too late to the action. And another Jackson goes down because of, well, the smoke actually covering the Stug. There goes the Stug. The Pack 40's trying to help out, but I'm not sure what it's going to be able to do. The two remaining tanks for Kedok are going to be able to escape. And right now, the Rifleman Blob from the Walking Dude is just kind of capping points on the right side. Eventually, it's going to be able to just kind of flank around and get behind the Germans over here, which is going to be good. For some reason, Johnson Shao is still spamming Stugs, and what the fuck is going on with this? How many rear echelon troops is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Am I right? 3, 6, 9 rear echelon troops. What in the world is happening? So Swoop still trying his blobs. This time he's just going all out. He's turned it up to 11. He's got the blob to end all blobs of rear echelon troops. For some reason, he's not using the rear echelon troops to repair his base buildings. That's why he's using rear echelon troops, because he cannot, you know, he cannot spawn riflemen. So he's probably got like the spawn repair engineers or something call off from the base. Whenever your base is destroyed, you get that spawn. So he's probably using that to just kind of spam out rear echelons. I'm not sure what's happening, but yeah, it's just insane. And it looks like the memes are never ending. The center we have the Pershings, the, you know, the the flesh Pershings, the human Pershings. The Rangers are just smashing through everything that the Germans have to offer. And the artillery is destroying the packs. Looks like the spam from the Swoop is still attacking. And oh, grenades are gonna fall down to the Pioneers. Oh no, it's just a massacre. Everybody's micro is just off the charts at this point. They're all just dead. And the two artillery guns are still firing away. There's another one that's been rebuilt, but the American infantry spam is just so overwhelming, and there's no more MGs left for the Axis. At this point, I'm really not sure what they can do about all of this. I mean, of course, they can try to artillery down the spam, but look at the massive amount of bazookas. That's definitely gonna hurt. However, we have the anti-infantry strafe coming through. That's gonna at least, you know, suppress them. And yeah, with heavy losses, the American blob is going to be forced back to base. There's another Jackson in the area, plus the vet-free Jackson is repairing, and it's been forgotten in the base. He's also using the Pershing, rather the rear echelon troops to repair the Pershing. So Kedok still has his armor. The Swoop has his infantry blob, and the Walking Dude has a sort of junior blob, a minor blob. He's trying to use it to destroy the caches. He's also tried it in a flank, but it looks like he's taken some pretty heavy casualties. And the priests are firing away at the artillery, so that's gonna go down. The Jackson over here does not destroy the Panther. It's gonna die to the pack. Oh no, that's not enough to kill it, but the Panther is. So the Germans still control the left-hand side. That's still allowing them to hang on with 54 VPs. They've got the center being capped. That's because the sort of junior blob from the Walking Dude was forced away. And the Rangers from Kedok just didn't get enough time to capture a point, it seems like, and hold it. And yeah, the Panther spam for the Germans is doing okay. Finally, there's a Broom Bear on the field for Yakhti Kozak. I wonder why he's gone for a Broom Bear. And it looks like, yeah, the Germans are going to try to recapture some points on the right side that they lost. They've got their MG spam trying to defend the center, but it's going to get probably priested down relatively quickly. And the left-hand side, just Horde is, well, at this point, I don't really have hopes for their success, considering this guy is coming through. This is potentially very dangerous. Looks like the center's being capped once again by the Americans, but, you know, just neutralize them, then the MGs pin them down. And, yeah, hello, Blob. I am your destruction. I am your death. I am Broom Bear. And actually, this is a bazooka blob, so the Broom Bear has to be a little bit careful and use some kiting tactics. The problem is, they're taking so much damage. They're taking huge casualties, and they've even lost one of the, I believe, rear echelon troops. And that, yeah, it's just not good. 6 kills for the Broom Bear, 8 kills for the Panther. What the hell? The center's being pushed again by the, infantry memes, whereas the tank memes are still resting at the base. And yeah, the Pershing, the Pershing, the Rangers, I'm not really able to think anymore. Yeah, they're just able to come in and destroy everything. Looks like they're gonna gun down the Pioneers that are building up that new howitzer. They're gonna destroy the howitzer itself with, of course, the ability to do that. But actually, the Burn Bear comes in and saves the day. All right, the left-hand side is still under the control of the Germans, but the Americans have recaptured the center for like the 5 seconds that they're gonna need, because if they capture it for like 5 seconds, that still means that they get to shave off like 2 VPs from the Germans. And if they continue to do that just like every, you know, every like minute you shave up 3 VPs for the Germans, they're still gonna be able to win eventually. So that's what they're trying to do. And I have no idea what's happening right now. I mean, Panzerschreck Panzer Grenadiers are trying to take out the Pershing. The Pershing try to overrun them and, you know, crush them, but it's not really working for them. Anti-tank strafe completely misses the Jackson. Not sure how or why. And right now it seems like the Allies are not really able to hold the center because of this MG that keeps getting recrewed. I mean, Kedok should really try to steal the MGs at this point, because that's the only thing keeping the Germans in the game. And the Panthers are getting bold and trying some offensives, but they're running into the wall of Jacksons and the Pershing and the other Jackson. And soon enough, there's going to be the massive blob that's now repaired back at base and reinforced. So this could be pretty bad for the Germans indeed. Looks like the artillery is falling down onto this gap, and it's doing some damage. The Jackson tries to chase away at the enemy units, but it runs right into the range of that anti-tank gun, so it runs away. And yeah, the Rangers are doing quite well in the center, but this machine gun is still around and still firing. The Axis somehow still able to keep it alive. Finally, some smoke comes down from Kedok, and he's going to be able to capture the center. Right side is being pushed at finally by a Stug. So the right side is under control of the Germans now. This is a potentially triple capping maneuver. However, the Stug is going to go down from these anti-tank guns, it looks like. There it goes. However, the anti-tank guns are not going to be enough to stop these two guys. Here comes a Stuka close air support bombing attack on these anti-tank guns. There goes one of the ATs. Looks like the Rangers finally managed to secure the center, and these 3 machine guns should definitely be stolen right now by Kedok, because it's not like the Germans have that much anti-infantry. As I say that, the Stuk snipes one of the Rangers. It's not like they have that much anti-infantry over here to deal with you know, entrenched machine guns. They should be able to just kind of take these machine guns and keep the center the same way the Germans have been doing. Looks like on the left-hand side we finally have a bait. We have one rifleman squad capturing over there. Oh no, they're gonna try to lure in the enemy vehicles, and then they're gonna come in from behind with the massive blob, and it's kind of gonna work, kind of not. So massive blob is around, and it's, yeah, these Panthers should definitely run away, but they're in a bad way. I think this Panther is actually gonna go down. Yeah, well done. So finally Pershing comes through and is gonna shield away the support weapons from being recaptured by the Germans. I think that's the whole purpose of this Pershing being here. However, there is a problem with these two Panzer Grenadiers or Panzerschrecks. Oh, the Pershing is in trouble, destroys the Stug, but it's in a lot of trouble from these Panzerschrecks. Might go down. The Rangers might be able to save it, and yes, they will. Good. Right side is gonna get invested by the just massive army of the Walking Dude. He's got 5 rifleman squads, so he's definitely not slouching on the blobbing front. And oh no, looks like the blob on the left-hand side has been mostly just sent back in tatters. We only have 5 rear echelons of the original 9 left, and one of the 2 riflemen left. And it looks like even the Jacksons are having to retreat away with their tail between their legs. And the priests are trying to do something, and they finally managed to destroy this house, but yeah, the Germans still emerge with the uncontested domination of the left-hand side. Looks like the Stug on the right side is gonna die. The Sherman is also gonna die, but the rifleman can recapture the right side. Kedok in the center somehow is still able to hold, even though he's getting kind of attacked by like Panther spam. Where's the Pershing? Pershing is back repairing, and the spam of Rangers is kind of okay, but he hasn't taken the machine guns. So the Germans are not going to be able to come in, take the machine guns, take the points. However, there's there's a time on target falling down on one Grenadier squad to prevent them from capping. And is that going to be in time? Nope. Time on target, as always, it's not on time. And it actually misses. Completely misses. So that's pretty interesting. And that could be, well, pretty bad for the Allies. There goes the Broom Bear. Oh god, what is happening? So 43 VPs left for the Germans, but they're able to hold on just barely by having, you know, the center and that nice harassment on the left-hand side. So they're still got a bit of a chance, but yeah, the Ranger spam at this point should be able to just kind of deal with any infantry that the Germans just bring out, but they need to take these machine guns just to be sure, because the Rangers are good at attacking, but they can't really protect points. Like, it's not their job. Oh god, and the artillery battery is being reconstituted. Reconstituted? Is that even English? It's being rebuilt, so we're back up to 3 artillery guns, and that's of course not going to be good for the Blob. The Blob luckily is back out on the field and not at base reinforcing. The Blob had managed to actually repair the buildings in the base, but with the artillery spam, yeah, as you can see, the base of the Americans is going to get basically mooned. You know, going to get turned into a bunch of craters. Alright, Kedok still has 1 Pershing and 1 Jackson, so that's pretty okay. I'm thinking that this Jackson... Oh yeah, that's new from the Walking Dude. Panther suicides for some insane reason. Looks like no, you know, airstrikes to follow up on that. Yeah, Yakti Kozak hasn't been using relief infantry, actually. He's got 450 munitions, and he's not used any relief infantry, which is, in my opinion, a huge mistake. Because he would have been able to get just tons of Ostruppen to get all of these weapons recruit, although the Pioneer spam is going to be able to do that just fine. And yeah, once again, the, you know, MGs are going to be able to deal with the Rangers. Despite the grenade spam and despite, you know, all of that, the Americans are trying to do to stop those machine guns. The Blob is, yeah, the Blob is just trying to come through on the left, but it's not enough. There's armor-piercing rounds, incendiary rounds coming through from this machine gun. That's going to do a lot of damage to these guys. And the center is kept by the Germans, and this Pioneer should be able to come in and capture it. The Panzerschrecks are pushing away and trying to destroy these Jacksons, but I'm guessing that the Jacksons, with this rifleman support, are going to be able to save themselves. The right side is back under full control for the Allies. Looks like they've been able to steal the MG42s that were used in the push, and now they're going to be able to use those to hold the right side, so that's very good. Very well done for them. Oh, looks like a Stuka close air support almost tried to bomb out these guys. And Devil CZE goes for the GG. I'm not quite sure if that's meant as a, like, I won GG or as a my team are noobs, you win GG. I'm still not sure. He's still got his artillery piece. He's actually the guy that doesn't have any artillery pieces in his doctrine. He's just stolen it, and he's able to get some barrages down, and he's got a relatively tattered mix of units. He's trying to build up another Panther. He was the guy that was spamming out Panzer IVs earlier, so it's good to see him go for the Panthers. And right now the Pershing tries to come into the center, but it's not good for it because there's the crossfire from 3, well actually no, 2 Stugs and 1 Panther. And right now, yeah, the Allies, while losing that Pershing, they still can capture the center VP just fine, even if they're getting shot at by the artillery. And bazookas are going to be able to just force away the Stugs, and, well, the Jacksons, once they're repaired, they should be able to deal with the Panthers. Alright, and the Germans are down to 42 VPs, so they're, once again, slowly but surely getting winded down by these, you know, extended artillery attacks. So that's pretty well done for the Germans. And, well, rather, for the Allies, they're steadily getting whittled down by, you know, the capping, and, well, I don't see how the Germans are going to be able to capture and hold these points because the Allies just have such
infantry superiority. And finally, the blob is coming through in the center. It's gonna swoop into the center, and instead of getting met by, you know, the prepared defenses of the left-hand side, which at this point actually have ironically been reduced to nothing. So if the blob were to come down on the left at this point, it would just be able to capture the points. But that aside, it's attacking the center, and, well, it's been forced back by Panzer Grenadier grenades. For some reason, the swoop has gone for a mortar half-track. In fact, 2 mortar half-tracks. I have no idea what's happening anymore. It's just insane. And there's a Panther attacking the right side, just completely unsupported. I'm not sure what it's trying to do. I'm guessing getting at the artillery, or maybe trying to destroy the defenses on the right just to allow the infantry to cap. But there's no infantry following through, so I have no idea what's happening. Right now, this Pershing... Oh, Pershing, I keep saying Pershings. These Rangers are trying to do something about all of this, but the machine guns are unrelentingly coming back and back and back. So the Germans might be able to once again recapture the center. Looks like the Axis are coming through with a lot of Panthers, but there's just too many Rangers. What are the Panthers gonna do against all these Rangers? And I'm guessing that the answer is not a lot. There's a strafe coming in from Devil CZE, but it's not gonna be enough to deal with all of these Rangers. Oh no, it is, because it's actually gonna pin them up. And some kind of artillery strike also went down. Looks like a time on target. Yep. And there's only 10 points remaining, so actually this Rifleman squad can save the game for the Allies and just keep these Pioneers from capping. Actually, a Panzerwerfer is fired into the cap by, I'm not sure who, by Johnson Xiao, and that pins the Pioneers and prevents them from capping. Looks like this Rifleman is going to get pinned and prevented from preventing the cap, but there's a Jackson in the area, and the Jackson could actually just kind of charge in and get the crew out onto the VP, but it's not going to be in time, and the Germans keep control, or rather neutralize the VP at 3 VPs left for them. They're trying to now desperately get some anti-tank guns into the area. They're also firing LEFH rounds into the area, so it's definitely a danger close. And there's also a time on target coming through for the swoop. The anti-tank gun's gonna come in and try to cap, but there's just way too much artillery fire. It looks like a Stug will just completely evaporate in a hail of destruction, and in the center, the time on target is gonna destroy the anti-tank gun, but the Panzer Grenadiers in the meantime have managed to get into the capping circle, and they're now destroying the Jackson, but they get out of the capping circle for some reason to try to destroy the priest. Why is there a priest here? I have no idea. Somehow the bazooka blob is coming through on the left, and it's gonna get absolutely, you know, destroying these units. And of course, right now the Ranger blob is approaching. The machine gun is going to be able to at least get some suppression in, but it's not going to be enough. The Stuka close air support destroys the entire blob from swoop, but the Rangers managed to flank the machine gun and destroy it with ease with their grenades. And I'm thinking that this is going to be the end of the game. No! There's a Stuka close air support strafe anti-infantry run that pins all of the Rangers. There's a Panzerwerfer coming through that's probably going to destroy everything in this area. In fact, the Rangers yet again get pinned, and now the Germans are able to bring in some infantry units to recap. And I've been looking at the mini-map right now in this entire engagement, because usually what happens in these engagements is that you get distracted by like the carnage of everybody throwing everything into the center, and then something surprising happens on the flanks, but it's actually not happening. So these guys are literally just throwing everything they've gotten to the center, and the Rangers are going to come through with that because they're just so effective at close range at dealing with enemy units. Panzerwerfer tries to save the day and get some damage dealt to these Rangers, pins one of the squads. Panzer Grenadiers, however, are not going to be able to stand up against this Vet-free squad, and they're going to go down. Looks like this Jackson and this Panther are just having a coffee with each other, but the other Panther destroys the Jackson that had destroyed the Panzerwerfer, probably using the smoke as cover to survive. It looks like yet more smoke coming through from Kedok, and it's gonna save it from the save his infantry rather from the machine gun. These Grenadiers are trying to come in, but they're veterancy free, and 2 machine guns are gonna avail them nothing at closer range against the Chicago Pianos, and those are gonna easily be able to destroy all of that. And they're gonna get the cap. No, it's the Panzerwerfer again. It destroys the squad just before it can get the cap. And there's a Jackson over here. I'm not sure where that comes from the swoop. But the Americans, finally, they managed to get some, I'm guessing, mortar smoke, as well as, you know, heavy cavalry company smoke, and they're able to get the cap and finally finish this game just as a machine gun was trying to come through and it was sacrificed for the glory of the fatherland. I do not even know what happened. I'm not even going to try to analyze the game and say what everybody did wrong. I'm just going to say well done to everybody. It was absurd, and I hope you enjoyed. I definitely did, and I'll see you soon.